Well, today's gospel ends with two abandoned boats full of miraculous fish. These two fishermen that were in, or these two sets of fishermen that were in the business of fishing, abandoned the very thing they were seeking, success, and followed Jesus. They've discovered in him the greatest treasure, the thing they were actually working for. Maybe a few other people came by and said, wow, this is great. Like this grab it, take advantage, right? And almost feeling like they had hit the bonanza, right? Look what we found. Sell it, make some money. But they left because they had the treasure. A powerful Christian truth, very powerful, is possessing Christ, finding God and his mission for your life is the most important thing in the world, the biggest treasure. From that flows everything: purpose, mission, an experience of love, of worth, of identity, etc. So I want to dig into three, I think, beautiful facts about our calling as Catholic followers of Jesus Christ. First, pagans wonder, but Christians journey. Or pagans wander, but Christians journey. Pagans, in the sense, those who don't know God or don't believe in God can't really explain where they come from or where they're going. You know? Sometimes they're beautiful souls, even innocent souls. I remember one time in Italy, I was hiking outside Rome and came across this young man sitting out on the rock, taking the sun. Long, beautiful Italian, black hair, and he was just sitting there, very nice guy. Sat down next to him, said, so who are you? What's going on? And he said, I'm a wanderer. It's like, oh, really? I'm Mark, how you doing? And he proceeded to tell me how he was a spirit, he just followed the spirit of the world, right? He was just seeking to understand and to know. But as we discussed, he hadn't quite arrived yet. He was still figuring it out. He didn't know where he came from or where he was going, but he was enjoying the ride, right? Beautiful soul, seeking the truth. God bless him. Hopefully we took a step forward in that conversation. But those who are Christians and those who have found God, know God, are not wandering. They're following. They're on a journey. They have a goal. They know where they've come from, their Creator who loves them, and out of infinite love gave them the gift of life, a participation even in his own life through baptism, and has charged them with a mission to go and to bring others to himself. What a beautiful thing. So we don't wander around the world. We're journeying, we're following, we're setting out to accomplish something for ourselves, for the Lord. Life as a vocation, as an adventure, runs throughout all of Scripture. We have three examples in today's gospel, right? We have Isaiah, who's discovering his vocation. We have Paul, who's already discovered it and living it. And it seems like people are questioning him. Hey, who are you to preach? He's like, yeah, I know. I'm the most unworthy, but here we are. And Jesus, who's encountering these businessmen and challenging them to leave everything they were once pursuing to follow him. They were all given a purpose and given a mission, and they follow it. Second thing that's beautiful about this concept of we are called by God, created for a mission, is that means life is full of meaning, full of hope, full of possibility, right? Because of this call, a new mission and a purpose is given to us. Anyone who accepts the call of Christ in their life begins a new way of living. It's the best thing that can happen to them, to find that calling. No one lives an accidental life. None of us here are an accident. None of us here are indifferent. All of us have a purpose. All of us have a divine mandate, a commission to go on my behalf. So even if at times we're a little lost and unsure, we can anchor ourselves on that truth. Hey, I know where I've come from. God loved me and created me out of nothing for a purpose. And I know this much of what that purpose is. It's to know and love and serve him in this life and the next. Now, I might not know this, or I might not know that, or this might be difficult, but I know where I stand and where I'm going. That gives amazing meaning and purpose to our life. What united these apostles of Jesus wasn't just a hobby or a cause, or they enjoyed him, but they were committed to his mission. They were part of his body. They were called to build up his kingdom. And they came into this world and were sent into this world with that unique call. The third value or important aspect of being called by God. A relationship with God and that call is also very personal. It's a call to follow Jesus in a personal path, right? And the beautiful thing is you don't have to be anyone else. To follow your call, purpose God created you for, your mission, you don't have to be somebody else. You don't have to have the gifts of somebody else, the qualities of somebody else, the advantages of somebody else, the disadvantages. You've got to be you. God's almost given you everything you need to accomplish what he's inviting you to accomplish. You have it all. You've got him and you've got you. In fact, this is a beautiful thing because in all three of the examples today in the gospel, the one called feels ashamed because they look at themselves and say, wait a second, I'm a sinner, right? Isaiah sees this and, the room shakes and the lintels and the spirit and the fire. And he's like, woe is me. I'm not worthy of this. No. No. When he beholds the glory, the beauty, the volume, it's like, whoa, this is too much. Not for me. I'm a sinful man. No. And then God comes with the burning coal and touches his mouth, purifies it, and changes him. And then he's like, oh, okay. And when the petition comes, hey, who can I send? He volunteers, hey, send me. He now understands, hey, it's not about me, my gifts, my qualities, my history, my defects, sins I've committed in my past. It's him. If he's calling, he'll give me what I need. He'll take care of me. He knows. So we can trust. The same with Paul, right? He knew his back. He knew I used to kill Christians, right? He's last of all. As to one born abnormally, he appeared to me. He's like, I get it. There's Cephas, and there's the other 12, and then all these others, and then finally me. I'm the least of them. I'm not even fit to be called an apostle because I was never following Jesus in person. I used to persecute the church of God, he says. But by the grace of God, I am what I am. It's very personal. God knows me personally. He knows who I am. And if he's calling me, I can trust in him. Same with Peter. Hey, depart from me, I'm a sinful man. We can feel unworthy when God commissions us. We can look at all the obstacles, all the storms outside and say, no. Too many circumstances against me. But God says, no, I believe in you. You're mine. I want you. How many parents, didn't do such a great job raising my kids back then, and now look, beat yourself up. Well, hey, God called you, and just you, with all that you are. So, offer it up to him, and then do what he's calling you to do now. So many great examples in the past. I had a few saints that I jotted down here to refer to, so many of them. St. Aloysius Gonzaga, very wealthy family in Spain during the Renaissance, right? Firstborn, so he's going to inherit the castle and everything else there in Castiglione della Stivia. And he chose to follow this young band of priests that were being founded, the Jesuits, and then started serving the poor, left all the money, all the titles, all the properties, all the salutes in the courtyard, went out and served the people during the plague, gave it all up. But he was happy. He loved it. This is my mission. He discovered it, left everything. Same with Francis and Clare and so many other examples of saints. I'll leave with you with this. The most important thing then that we can teach our children and ourselves is to choose God over everything else, to leave aside those boats and follow Jesus in the practical of everyday life. How do we do that? By choosing him. Some very concrete things, our daily prayer and family. And we choose that, whether it's convenient or not. We actually organize our time around it. Hey, You got to do this. You got to be back in time for this. No, unfortunately, you can't do that because you got to get to Mass. We've got travel teams. Okay, great. Well, we'll make, okay, there's lots of options. So which one are we going to get? It's not a negotiable, right? Or other family traditions of prayer and of faith, right? That's when we send the message, hey, it doesn't depend on circumstances how important God is. He's number one. Everything else is secondary. And we make that option. Sure, it's difficult, sometimes inconvenient, but that's the priority. And that sends a message, hey, that's what and your life has purpose in as much as you respond to God's invitation and God's call. Social activity, etc. I think we teach that also in so many ways when we ask our kids to be responsible, or we expect it of ourselves. Hey, I'm going to be responsible for this, independent of whether it's convenient or not. I remember chores, right? I've talked about it before. Fighting over who's going to do what. The fact that we knew it wasn't negotiable whether you did it or not. You could figure out a way to get it done. You could give your allowance to your brother or sister to get it done for you. You could ask your friends over and then get it done and then go play. But that was the expectation, and then you figured it out, right? That created hey, there's certain things that are not subject to my feelings or to that creates an identity, a security, a confidence. I can respond. Brothers and sisters, we're all called, right? We also have in the pews this little sheet of paper, honor a young man. I think you have it in there. You should have it. It was announced last week. It's also the invitation of our bishop, as we need priests to serve the church, to honor a young man by writing down their name. If we know a young man who's anywhere from 16 to whatever age, we think, I think he could be called to be a priest. God might be coming across his boat and saying, I know you've been fishing, but I want to make you a fisher of men. It's an honor to suggest their name. Whether they're called, that's up to them. Let them figure it out with God, with their conscience, with their parents, their family, the priests. But suggesting, hey, you might be. Young people need older people to suggest it. They don't know. I could be an engineer, or I could be a priest, or I could be a nurse. How many of us say, I think you'd be good at this. You'd be a great nurse. You'd be a great counselor. You'd be great at this. And we do it all the time. Hey, I could see you'd be a great football player. Yeah, you should go for it. We have no problem. But when it comes to being a priest, like, whoa, no. I wouldn't want to wish that on my worst enemy. No, that's too much. Or no, that's too grand a thing. He's just a normal kid. Or no, actually, you know what? I've seen him. He's not the greatest. Jesus doesn't see that. He calls and he empowers and he forms. So we need as adults and as people who love our young people, if we see that, they might have the qualities, they might have the ability, recommend them. Write down their names, turn it into as they do the offertory, or drop it off on the sheet at the back and recommend it. I remember I was on a lot of these sheets when I was in D, and people would come up to me, or the priest would come up to me, etc. It was great. It kept it on the radar, right? And I knew, okay, I'm going to have to make this decision someday. It was a great honor. So let's honor our young people by the possibility of not thinking they're not capable of responding to God's call and even making sacrifices, but hey, we believe that God's going to give you the grace, and we believe you have the qualities, and I could honor you that way. I recommend you. You could be. You should check this out. Listen to God. See if he's asking. So brothers and sisters, let's continue with this Mass, thanking Jesus for the opportunity to be in his presence and to make him our number one priority, and then also to receive the grace of receiving him in communion, where he also says to us, hey, you're my number one priority. I'm committed to you as well.